Opfor is a program or an initiative that we've been looking at setting up for quite a few years now. It's concepted from time spent in the military where myself and a lot of my friends and colleagues have in the past experienced different types of military training with what we call the opfor or the opposition force. Some other terms I used to call them is enemy party, and usually they're comprised of volunteers or people that are kind of around not doing much and will portray essentially an enemy force. For the years of training and doing this kind of training, very quickly you find that the realism in this training is very limited, and it doesn't really give you a proper sense of training against a realistic opponent or opposition. So over the years, being out of the military, seen some times when this could be really well employed in both military, police and security services, where they all have a very crucial role to play in the security and also in their roles, overseas or domestic.
More comprehensive things of vehicle accidents and things that could happen.
Essentially, the return on investment of the soldiers that are involved in this is significant. They get a far greater respect for their oppositions. They see the training far more realistically, and it actually has a very psychological effect in the training. It creates a vastly more memorable experience for soldiers and for security services. Corrective recovery controls on motorbike that you guys have done for the physical injury. The group that we are looking for is not traditionally what some people think would be the ideal employee or the ideal staff member for this role. We actually like to bring in anybody from any walk of life. And because this creates a few challenges, we have a very unique recruitment or interview process, I suppose you could call it. And ultimately what we're looking for is people that are trainable. That's realistically what it comes down to. Also, we want to be very clear to people what they could potentially get themselves into. And a lot of people will look at this and think this will be a fun job just to go out and shoot some guns and basically be a bad guy. But there's actually a lot more to it than that. So we do a lot of work around the training piece. We want to be making sure that we deliver high quality training for our clients. So it's not just fun and games, whilst there certainly is a lot of enjoyment and a lot of excitement doing this job. There is also a lot of really good training outputs and really satisfying training of clients, satisfaction training of clients. Now, why run something like this? Why not we just have an interview process like any other job where we can tell you about what you're expected to do and talk about some of the experiences that you might face. Seeing is believing, and experiencing is really what you need to do to see if this is actually something you want to do. Sweet, it's the morning of the selection, and we're just now getting the final candidates arriving. It's looking like a good day, nice and clear. Bit crisp this morning, but I think it'll be a really good day.
What I expect, I understand that your company is set up by very knowledgeable people. I know that you're very serious. So, because you're very serious, you know how to test the limits. I expect to be at the wall. If we're gonna test, minimum effort, what kind of test is it, right?
Going for a little bit of a pack march, and then followed up by maybe some night tasks, and then we'll go for a run the next day, and should cut away by midday. I'm fingers crossed, right? So hopeful thinking. I think this is probably with the cold and whatnot, with the weather, it's probably going to be a little bit more mental than physical, but we'll see. I don't know what the hike's going to look like, but should be good.
For me personally, one, I love the bush, love the camping. I love getting out and about. I've done a lot of opfor in the military, and this is just an extension of that. It's fantastic training.
This isn't just us wanting to see if you're able to do this job. Job, who you guys as well for thanks to this process, and we're happy to.
Right, yeah, so this morning we've had an instructor standardisation training session. So we're making sure that the instructors are all singing off the same song sheet when it comes to assessing the candidates. So it's all equal, off the same marking guide, and there is no personal biases that creep into the assessments. The instructor standardisation training went really well. We've also had the candidates all packing their equipment. They've all been issued with the same equipment, so what we like to do here at opfor is to take out that personal professionalism of individuals. So we issue them with the type of equipment that they'll be finding on the actual tasks with opfor. From there. All right, but make sure that you get a full check on the map. From my assessment so far, looking at the students that we've got, they're extremely motivated and enthusiastic individuals. They've already shown a real willingness to put themselves out there, so this is a realistic job preview. To turn up on a weekend in this weather, unpaid, already indicates the kind of standard that these candidates are at, and they're exactly the kind of people that we're looking for to help train the New Zealand security services.
So this morning we've had our safety briefings, our initial exercise briefings. We've packed up our kit issued to us by the lovely opfor staff. I've had a chat with the medic because I have a bee allergy, which he is well prepared to handle. He's onto it. Now we're just going up waiting for the step off.
A lot of people think that you have to be military or you have to have military experience to do something like this, and people get really worried that they're just not cut out for this. Well, the good news about this program is that we want anybody from any walk of life. You do not have to have a military background. You do not have to have served in the military to do this. We will train people. We want to find out who has the passion, who has the drive to want to do something unique and different. And the best thing about this is that we provide all of that.
There is about 100 years of experience between the team today. They're all highly competent, they're all veterans, so years and years of experience to really help mentor and guide the candidates as we move through today's activities.
Cool. As part of the opfor process, we take our health very seriously. So I look after the medical side. We make sure we screen every candidate to make sure that they are healthy and in a fit enough state to do to go through the selection. And also we prepare a very solid medical plan so that if something does go wrong up in these hills, or wherever we're conducting training, we can get in the right support agencies, whether they be helicopter, emergency, ambulance and so forth, to support us and help us out to get any casualties we might have out. And if I'm not available, we make sure we bring in the right qualified trained professional to support the training. So the minimum qualification for that would be paramedic, nurse, and all emergency skill trained and qualified. Then of course we train all our staff up.
Okay, we're at the midpoint of the trek here. A few of us have stopped up here just to basically welcome in the candidates as they come up of a fairly steep portion of the trek. Behind us here is going to be where they're going to come up, and from here they will continue on up further up the trek. It's kind of going to be an interesting moment for them. They've probably just experienced quite a hard leg of this trek, and it will really show how they're feeling once we start to see them. They also get offered an opportunity to to review whether they want to carry on, and this is the point that they can turn around and head back without having to go up another steep part of the track. This shows people's dedication, the motivation, and is a crucial part of the selection process.
You got plenty on board?
Yeah, we stopped at the top and had a bit of a carbon tank, ready for a feed and something to drink. Need to refill some water if possible. Yeah.
Got the gear, get some stuff down your neck, whatever.
It's a hard
I'm
climb.
going to admit that climb was hard. Yes.
Hard climb, but it's good.
Hard climb. Yes. My legs are too small.
Yeah, it was a pretty mean walk up the hill. Lots of elevation in there, so it was just one step after another, I guess. Yeah. It's all about your headspace and just being sure that you're carrying on, you know.
Just take one step at a time. It's certainly challenging, but I think the rewards hopefully outweigh, so it's something to look forward to. So I'm having an awesome time, so I'm appreciative to be here. Great opportunity, a good bunch of guys as well, so yeah, bring it on.
Right, so the candidates have gone and they've walked up over this ridgeline down into the creek, and then they've gone from there up into another sort of high feature. Part of that, well, during that process, one of the candidates withdrew voluntarily near the start. The other candidates are making their way back now. Most of them should make the time cutoff, which will be getting back hopefully before dark, and then we'll be going into the night activities.
So it's a bit of a test of their physical endurance as well as their mental toughness to see who can put a pack on and then just put one foot in front of the other over a bit of rough terrain.
Even though the candidates didn't, or one of the candidates didn't make it through, he'll still be able to complete the rest of the activities and might be invited back in the future.
Moving into a bit of night routine. The other groups got a little bit delayed, so we're going to just probably move them just with this group here first and give you a bit of a briefing on what's going on. Okay, it's going to get cold tonight, so make sure you've got enough warm kit. Has everyone got enough warm kit? Yep. You're comfortable with what you've bought is going to keep you nice and warm tonight. Okay. So we're just setting up the night location for the candidates, setting out silent sticks for safety purposes, and also so we can move into these locations from the side where the directing staff are based. We're now heading down to this cable here, this rope that's on the tree. That's going to be what we call the track plan, where they will walk along in the dark so they can hold on to something and not get lost, and basically stay on the right sort of side. So yeah, right now we'll just be placing these out for making sure we've got plenty of direction in the dark so we can see exactly where people are and not get them all lost. This is the night location, so they're staying overnight. So the night exercise itself is where they will be sleeping in essentially the field, as we say, or in the wilderness, which is simulating what they could do on an actual opfor contract. That's part of the process. We need to see that people are comfortable staying out overnight. It isn't particularly warm tonight, so they'll be getting used to wearing warm equipment, checking their sleeping bags, and if necessary, using each other's body heat in sleeping bags to keep warm. And that'll be monitored by the staff throughout the night. You can move things around a little bit, but don't just go crazy.
Make a makeshift A-frame shelter out of some tarps and whatnot, just for some wind cover, I guess. And yeah, if any rain comes, she'll be right. It's the first time I've slept this close to a river as well as on like such rocky ground, but hey, it's, you know, love it.
So as the candidates are setting up for their night taskings, having completed a pretty arduous sort of walk through the bush, the body will start to seize up, especially being a little bit colder. So we emphasise them to get some fluids in, to get some electrolytes, particularly some salt when they eat something tonight, to stave off any of the cramps and things like that. Tomorrow, because their energy stores will be a bit sapped, they will emotionally be a little bit charged, so we might see some people a bit snippy or a little bit recluse in themselves, just depending on their own personalities. The weather obviously also affects that. At the moment it's not too bad, it's a little bit chilly. It's going to get quite cold around sort of 3 AM in the morning, which is when they'll probably all start waking up. Typically first night out in the bush, or actually first night away anywhere, you don't sleep well anyway. It's a survival mechanism, and this is just an added factor to that. So we'll get them up, they'll have a broken sleep, and then we'll start their next taskings somewhere between 05 and 0600 tomorrow morning.
Temperature's starting to drop, and so we made sure we chose a high spot as well, just making sure if the river level came up we weren't going to get wet. I think this one's been brilliant. It's a good bunch of guys, and the directing staff are pretty onto it.
They're playing nice.
Yeah, oh yeah, but you can tell there's a level of professionalism there and what they're trying to achieve. You can see it's a good future.
It was brutal, yeah. I wasn't physically prepared for it. I thought I would have been, but I'm just not. Going forward, I haven't really got the time. I thought I would have, but it just, on reflection, I probably haven't. I'm not ready for extra stuff just yet. But yeah, I mean, as I said, it was bloody hard. But in hindsight as well, it's actually, I'm not going to say it was fun because that would be a lie. But as I said, we learned a lot about myself, because I've not done it for a while. A bit of a wake-up call, I suppose. If I wanted to do this again, I'd be certainly putting in some effort. I had a good idea. I mean, I didn't come in here blind. It's not, and I read all the stuff, but yeah, it just wasn't. I'm not ready.
The fact that you've made that decision is what I want, because once we get into the training, we start investing money into this, and we start putting people, and then eventually, they might do the training and enjoy it, but then as soon as we get out to a client, and let's say the Defence Force are wanting us out in the bush for 5 days, I can't afford to backload people out of the bush. Because
Number 6.
So right now what's happening is the candidates are conducting a
10.
pressure testing task.
Okay, 8,
They're required to
2,
fill sandbags and conduct 2 puzzle activities. Puzzle activities are designed to create good communication between the candidates so we can see how well they communicate.
Turn around, okay.
And also just to see a bit of pressure when the time pressure gets applied upon them. Really brings out a lot in characters, and that's what we can start to see in people's ability to manage stress.
Hi, it's the dawn of day 2, so really pleased with how it's going so far. Really pleased. The instructors have been doing an awesome job. So we had some real dramas on the hike yesterday. One of the candidates unfortunately incurred a knee injury. It was really impressive to see just how well the planning around the safety and the medical worked. So Brandon ended up doing 25 kilometres of hiking backwards and forwards. The comms plan worked, and the 4 team members made sure that the candidate got out safely. So I've been really pleased so far with the attitude and the drive and the motivation of the instructors. This morning's another clear, gorgeous morning, so it's going to be another great day's training, and they've got a bunch of tasks going on this morning to test a whole bunch of different things, from problem solving to communication skills. So yeah, it's going to be a really cool day.
A bit of an update from yesterday. We had the candidates up on the walk, up on the hill. It was a lovely day for it. but one of them unfortunately twisted his knee. So the good thing about that is we have the right staff up there, the right skills. We made sure I was able to assess that candidate and identified that he was, with a bit of strapping and a little bit of support, able to walk out. We did end up walking out during the night, so it was a very slow walk. We have got the ability to bring in other assets like helicopters and so forth, and we have got identified winching points, landing areas and so forth along the tracks, so that if we do have a larger incident we can support that. So because of the injury he has, he will not be able to undertake the tasks for the second day. So I made the decision that for his own safety that he will be MD'd, and the good thing about that is he's allowed to go back, he's able to go back, manage his injuries with the advice I've given him, and he's welcome to come back to the next selection. So there's no fault on his, and it just allows us to make sure that we don't put him into a situation where he's creating a longer term injury.
Pretty good. Morale's up there. The body's feeling it.
Yep. So yesterday's hike, you can feel it in the quads.
Yeah, the sleeping on the rocks was interesting. I think I spent most time staring at the tarp. Putting them up at night was challenging under red light only, and making do with what we had. We managed to get some decent shelters. Some of the guys came in late in the night. I'm waiting for it to get a bit cooler.
So am I, actually.
But it's definitely challenging.
Oh, you're right. You okay? Oh, you're right. Are you ready to go?
I expect to see a fair amount of fatigue and probably some emotions coming out of people. It is challenging, but the aim of this activity is to just put one foot in front of the other.
Not today. You're right.
They just need to keep moving and demonstrate they can do that for us.
You guys start talking, start thinking about how this is going to work. Are you sure you got two, bro? Yes, I have two. Okay. Just when you had enough, drop it.
He's already got two.
No, I've got two.
Come on, you can see it flattens off up there. Small goals. Let's get to that flat spot and then you can get a rest.
Easy.
Push through. Push through.
Yeah, I mean, I came here to see if I could cut the mustard and just challenge myself. I mean, I'm comfortable getting yelled and shot at. That's easy. But yeah, a bit of physical barriers to sort of break through. It's been quite good. For me, it's been mentally all the way through. Probably 3 or 4 times I've said, no, I can't do this, can't do this. This fella helped me just before. Makes a big difference when you've got a teammate who's not going to let you take out your card.
You don't quit, mate.
Yeah, man.
You don't quit.
So that's probably been one of the biggest motivators for me this week, and I don't even know him. So.
Number 10.
Yeah, man.
Hey guys, the timing. You made the timing with 4 minutes to spare. You couldn't get any better than that. Clockwork finish. Good effort.
Thanks, boys.
Hey,
good work, brother.
3 out of 20.
Thanks, man. Good work, lads.
Alright. Here, falling over.
Take a break down, just here again. Almost there. Push up, push up. Channel your anger into the climb.
Come help him, guys. You might need a hand, eh?
Coming in after tomorrow.
Yeah. Well,
they're coming down. I saw you.
Hey guys, just while you're eating, I'll just quickly have a chat. So first and foremost, hey, congratulations, you've all come to the end. I know it's probably been a bit of a hard couple of days. And like I said at the start,
Pretty much exactly what I expected. It's about as safe as I've ever felt my entire military career. My background in the bush. I also do search and rescue, so my purpose is to put myself in a little bit of harm's way. But I've had good training, and opfor, I imagine, would provide. The opfor instructors themselves are obviously very well trained, so I did feel safe in that capacity.
Was it fun?
Yeah, challenging. I may have said, oh, you guys are a bit kind, but yeah, you were cruel today. And so, yeah, it was really challenging. The guys come together for that, and yeah, you could tell some were struggling, and so it's just time to step up. And I think throughout today, everyone had their moment to shine in the different challenges, and I think we balanced out there. And I tell you what, the Staffy on the sandbags, he got the blood pumping, that's for sure. That was sort of our first station, I think. Definitely.
And do you think the selection event is a great way to give a realistic view of what's expected?
Yeah. So I thought yesterday was sort of, okay, this is cool. And then today, oh, wow, yeah, they really hit us today.
Did you feel safe?
Oh, the whole time. The instructors did an exceptional job. They didn't push us beyond our limits. We knew our own, and they could see things happen before they would happen. And so basically, hold there, and then we'd have a breather and carry on. And so yeah, it was very safe.
Okay, so the instructor standardisation that we started with at the beginning of this activity has obviously paid dividends. The guys have all been marking and assessing the candidates in exactly the way that we anticipated. We're about to run the selection board now. We've entered all of the data from their assessments. The scores are in, and I'm really pleased to be able to pass on to Charles that everybody's been successful that has completed the activity. My initial thoughts that the motivation shown by these candidates was just amazing. Some of them coming from like the South Island and Auckland, just really good motivation. There was a couple that self-withdrew because the nature of this is actually what we call a realistic job preview, and it proved its worth. They saw the kind of things that we will need to provide to our clients in the security industry, and they decided that it actually wasn't for them. So those that haven't opted out have all passed and proven exactly what we saw from their motivation at the very beginning. They've been hardworking, dedicated, and have really put in some mahi to make this a successful and very worthwhile venture.
So the selection event is now complete. All our candidates are now in the process of just tidying up and finishing up and then moving off from here. So we had a really good selection this time around with 7 candidates have come through, and from here those candidates are now just being debriefed on their performance. From here those candidates will now be moving from candidates in a selection into students on training. The opfor process that we've got in place is that we select them based on their trainability, on their drive and their willingness and want to be part of this program, and moving into the training phase, which is going to be intense. It's going to be hard, but it's also going to be really, really exciting and interesting work. And all of these candidates from today have now been given a position on a team where they'll be going on to training. So if you think that you have found this interesting and you think that this is something that you would like to do, please put in your expression of interest, get in touch with us and apply for an upcoming selection that's going to be made available in your areas. We want as many people from all walks of life. Again, military experience is not necessary, it's not required. We want anybody that's willing to try something new, to give it a shot, and to enter a very exciting training world that is very, very unique.